Hello, and welcome to another Monday live stream. I've got a very special guest today. I've got Alistair Nash from the PPC Sherpa. I'm going to introduce him in a minute, and he's going to be sharing basically 3 ways that we can use Google to help us with our social media. So as always, if you are watching this live, please do say hello in the chat, introduce your business, and please feel free to ask any questions throughout the interview, even if you're watching this on catch up, because we'll come back and we'll come back and answer those questions as well. So again, please do give this video a like if you're watching this, and please do make sure you're following me on Facebook and YouTube. Do subscribe to the YouTube. It's free after all. So I'm Bex from Social Media Executive, and I train businesses on social media. And you'll find me live every Monday at 12:30, offering lots of tips and advice on social media, and quite often with a fantastic guest, such as who we've got today. Alistair, do you want to introduce yourself, Alistair?
Yeah, so I'm Alistair Nash. I run a Google Ads agency and just starting up a new brand designed for small businesses who look to get started on Google Ads called PPC Sherpa. I've been doing Google Ads for over 10 years now. So yeah, that's kind of been my entire career, and I'm still a big Google Ads nerd and geek. So that's what I love to talk about.
Yeah, and you're a bit like me, aren't you? You're a bit of a data geek. We love our data. And Alistair is just brilliant at getting people positioned on the first couple of pages on Google and getting you seen really for what you're offering, what services and what products you might be offering. So you're going to be sharing some really good tips, haven't you? Because actually Google and social media goes hand in hand, doesn't it? Because Google is obviously an online searchable platform, as is all our social media platforms. But actually, you've got some tips to share. Tell us what you'll be talking about today.
Yeah, so one of the things that Google, and especially the data you can get from it, is really good at is kind of, discovering trends, discovering what's kind of a hot topic at the moment, and to just, you can really appeal to the mass market by, using what people are actually searching for in your social media posts. So if I can just share the screen here.
Yeah, let me put this onto the screen. Because you're absolutely right. When we're looking at social media, when we're looking at Google, you've got to get those keywords right, haven't you? You've got to get those searchable words that people are actually going to type in. And I think that is something when I work with businesses is we all too often fall into our industry jargon, don't we? Well, that's not necessarily what our clients would be searching for. So you're going to show us some tips, aren't you, here?
Yeah, I find it with clients on the Google Ads side of thing, if they suggest keywords, it tends to be a lot more complicated and a lot more technical than a user might be searching for. If you're an accountant, your user's probably just searching for an accountant. They're not getting technical they're not getting into the weeds with it. So you have to take a step back sometimes and think, what are the person who I'm looking for searching for, because they don't have my knowledge. So this is just one of the kind of tricks that I use to sort of quickly get the search terms that I've kind of searched for. And you can use this for blog posts, for coming up with headlines, for social media, and just designing some content for it. And that's just the Google autofill suggestion. So for you, for example, Bex, you might search Facebook tips. And if you see here, these are all Google auto suggestions. And these are based on the Google data to say, and they're in order of popularity. So the biggest, search for Facebook tips is Facebook tips for business. So you might want to, create, I'm sure you have created this probably, but you might want to create something called Facebook tips for business. And then the next one, Facebook tips and tricks 2022 and Facebook tips for beginners.
So basically,
bartender.
Facebook tipsy bartender. That sounds good. That sounds fun. So these are basically what people are typing into Google. These are some of the top things that people are typing into Google, the top searches, basically, aren't they?
Exactly. Yeah, these are what the top searches are based, on how many people are searching for them. So, yeah, it's just a nice, quick, easy way to get some ideas generated and to just know which ones are the most popular keywords as well. So yeah, that was just kind of that's kind of a quick one. I use it just to get which keywords are the most popular, and sort of it also suggests some kind of longer tail keywords as well. Like, I don't know, Facebook tips for exposure. Might be something that you hadn't really thought of, but obviously people are searching for it. So
yeah. So then you can put these, can't you, into then when you're writing a social media post, that could be like your headline title.
Exactly.
Because obviously, when you're on social media and when you're on Facebook, you can type in the searches for some of these key phrases and they will put other people's posts, as long as they're public, in front of you, won't they?
Yeah.
So it's basically putting these key words and phrases into your social media posts so you're found by more people than just your followers.
Exactly, yeah. And if you're going for the most popular ones, you've got the widest audience that's, relevant to you. So that's just a quick one. It's something nice to just to try out and see with different keywords and see which ones are the most popular and see what other keywords people are searching for around that topic. So the second tip is something that I use a fair bit, which is Google Trends. So if you go to trends.google.com or you search for Google Trends in Google, and it'll pop up at the top result. And then generally you probably have to select the country to be the UK, because it might default to US at first, which is, if you see some stranger data, it might be that. But this is kind of a compilation of all of what's happening on Google search. So it gives you, for example, you can get like what was the latest stories and insights, but like they do like featured news, which is year in search 2021, and if you click on this, it's going to tell you all of the what was the kind of the most popular searches and what was the trends in 2021.
Oh, okay.
So it shows you out of all questions. So there's a lot of football's going to pop up. It's a very popular search. Questions, interestingly, is Facebook down? Is the top,
yes, because that went down in 2021. It went down. Facebook went down, and everyone was just up in arms. Remember that?
Exactly. Is WhatsApp down? So that's similar. Obviously, lockdown. When will lockdown end? People just fed up with lockdown. So these, it just gives you by category what's gone on in that year. So that can be quite interesting, just to get some data to actually make some content for as well. So you can, like, what was the most popular search in 2021, you can get that data and you can use that as a post. But also it shows you things that are recently trending, which can really help for your social media, because I know this is something you've been posting about recently, Bex, which is, if you use current affairs, if you use events that are going on, you might get boosted on, the algorithm on Twitter or whatever it is, because, they know that that's a popular subject at the moment. And that's another thing that you can find here. So it tells you what searches are recently trending. So this is throughout the UK. So Love Island is always trending. Everyone loves Love Island. I'm not saying you should make a post about it.
Not sure we should talk about Love Island on our
No, I'm not necessarily saying you should, but you can, if you dig into the trend data, you can generally get something that might be a bit more relevant, something that's sort of news related. I mean, maybe if you're interested in leadership for the Tory party, that sort of thing, you can these are the popular searches, and you can kind of go back by kind of day, such as Sunday, today, and you can sort of pick out some popular trends, or you can try to pick what's going to be the next popular trend, I guess, which is which is also useful. But the thing that I use Google Trends for most is actually to find sort of seasonality for trends.
Okay.
For example, if you search for, Christmas gifts, there's going to be some fairly heavy seasonality, you would suspect. As we see, there's a big spike. There's a big spike. It actually peaks in the first week of December. So people aren't as organized as they might let you.
Oh, yeah, that is interesting. Yeah.
So they're searching. 1st of December is when Christmas gifts actually peaks for that first week, but it actually starts from, sort of September. People are, and especially after that sort of school holiday period, it starts to ramp up, and then November really starts to take off. As I say, it's peaking in the first week of December, and then obviously falling off a cliff quite soon after Christmas. And
so basically, we're not going to want to be talking about on our social media Christmas gifts in February, for example, because nobody's searching for that.
Exactly, like no one is searching for Christmas gifts. So if you're advertising Christmas gifts, you want to, start your content, later on in the year, around August. It's that sort of time when the search interest starts to peak, and then obviously December is a good time for that.
Rachel's just asked a question, actually. I think that goes back to the Google searches that we were looking at before. She's asked, are Google autocomplete suggestions influenced by your previous searches? Which is a good question.
Yes, they will be. You will see, if you've got previous searches slightly similar to that, you'll see that pop up. And if you frequently search for a topic, it will influence it to a certain extent. So what you can always do is open an incognito tab and do it that way. So your search history won't count towards it. If you're using Google Chrome and you go into incognito, or if you're on any other browser, you go into private mode, then.
Oh yeah, you could show us how to do that, actually, couldn't you?
Yeah, I can do that.
Open another tab.
Yeah. So the other thing that this is good for is not just the trend for the last 12 months. You can actually go back. Actually, since 2004, the data, but you can sort of go, okay, the last 5 years, has there been any change? Okay. Has there been any change in this? And actually, interestingly for this, the last kind of in 2021, 2020 was when search for Christmas gifts actually reached the highest. So I guess more people shopping online because people stuck inside for obvious reasons. And this is, as you'd expect, pretty consistent for this term, but actually you can find with different keywords, you could actually find a different trend pattern throughout the years. Something might happen earlier than later. I know I used to work in travel, and sort of, that sort of searches for travel getting earlier and earlier in the year, for holidays. It always peaks in January, but people were searching earlier, so
okay.
You can spot those sorts of things, but yeah, it's interesting. I mean, you can use this data as an interesting post as well, just to say that, the most searches for Christmas gifts ever was, whenever. And it's probably during, lockdown, more people searching online. So you can get some good data. And it shows you kind of related queries here, but they're generally not all that interesting because it's, just different years and things. But depending on what you're searching, that can be more interesting or not. So that's kind of Google Trends. And kind of the last point was, for me, was if you're generating all this on social media, you're putting out a lot of content, you're getting your brand out there, then people are inevitably going to turn to Google and search for your brand. And if that's the case, you might want to make sure that your brand is protected in a way by having a Google ad there, so you appear at the top results. You don't. What people don't want is you do all this hard work, generate a lot of interest via your social media, then they go to Google, and then your competitors there bidding on your brand name, and then their ads there, all your hard work has just sent them to your competitor's website, which obviously, you don't want to do. So you can always check that's the case by, going onto Google, searching for your brand and seeing what pops up. And if it is an ad, it'll have ad written next to it. And then you'll know that one of your competitors is bidding on your name. And if you want to protect that, you pretty much have to put your advert on there, which brand keywords are generally very cost effective because it's your own brand. You get a significant boost on Google for that. So you're not talking a large budget required for that. And it's just to have that peace of mind that your potential clients aren't going elsewhere. They're going where you want them to, which is your website.
Yeah, and I think that's a really good point. In fact, I think it was last week I was searching up for Trello, because I use Trello to help sort of do a bit of planning and put some templates in there for my social media. And I typed in Trello into the searches, and it didn't come up. It was right at the bottom of the first page, and there was just all these competitor systems that do similar things to Trello but don't do Trello. And it's like, I've literally typed in Trello, and that actual company is not coming up. It's coming up with some other search terms.
Oh yeah, some things like this will be
like that, exactly. I was like, oh,
yeah.
Nothing.
So it'll be a very competitive, and as I say, they're not even bidding on their own keyword potentially. So if they were, they would appear at the top of that list. So that's another thing to bear in mind. Just keep it as a sort of thing that you check, once a month, something like that, just to make sure that no one's just there, just taking your traffic away from you, because you spent time and effort getting that interest.
Yeah, no, that's really interesting. So go on then, show us how to go for those. To help with Rachel's question about how Google autocomplete suggestions, as we said, they may be influenced by your previous searches. So do you want to show us how to go incognito so that when we do put these search terms in, then it's not influenced, is it, by our previous searches? And I love our incognito because it is very, very good.
So essentially, if you're on Google Chrome, you go to the right-hand side, and there's the three dots next to kind of your profile name. If you're logged in, and then you can go, you get new tab, new window, or new incognito window. And if you click on that, then you will be directed to this window, which is in a different color. You get the little guy in the glasses and the hat.
Yeah, like an investigator.
Exactly.
Private investigator.
So you know that you are now, none of your previous data is being applied to that. So all of your cookies, nothing like that is applied to this. So you have kind of a clean profile. And if you're searching for your own brand term on a regular basis, you'll want to do that in incognito, because you'll see different results based on if you continuously search. So in ads, for example. So you always want to be doing that sort of search in an incognito tab, if possible.
Yeah, brilliant. Because if I search for, sometimes I search for Bex bait, then my LinkedIn profile is going to show at the top for me, because it's, I'm trying to find out where I'm appearing on Google, but then I'm clicking through, aren't I, into Bex, in the right Bex bait that I want to find. So Google automatically puts me in front of those searches I've previously done, which relate to me. But if we go into incognito, I can realistically see where I rank from someone who maybe doesn't know me, has never come across me before. So it's very useful. Yeah. No, that's brilliant. So to summarize then, just give us a little summarize with Google. Should I stop sharing now?
Yeah.
To summarize then, just to wrap up your little talk then, what's your sort of top tips of the way, just to summarize what people need to do on Google to help them with their
social media? So you can utilize Google's data to find what is popular, what keywords people are actually using. So using the autofill feature on Google, you can use Google Trends to find out what's trending right now, or find seasonality for particular keywords. And you can always go on Google Ads and just protect your own brand with probably a small budget of maybe £10, £20 a month, and just the peace of mind that your competitors aren't taking your business.
And if you need help advertising on Google, you're just about to launch a new service as well, aren't you, Alistair? Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so this is basically designed for the small business owner or someone who wants to kind of get started on Google Ads. They want to find information. They want to. There's going to be a community that they can join for support, and there'll be some do-it-for-you services on there as well. So that website will hopefully be launched by the end of today, which is exciting, and that's ppcsherpa.co.uk.
I've just put the link in the chat as well. And so how else can people reach you then, Alistair? Because I know you do share lots of tips and advice, and you're creating this group to help people on their journey to Google Ads and help them to do it themselves. Where else can they get in contact with you?
Yeah, so Twitter would be a good place. If you give me a follow on Twitter, so that's at the PPC Sherpa. I'll be a lot more active on there once everything's live, thanks to your training course as well, Bex. LinkedIn will be another good one to follow me, so Alistair Nash on LinkedIn.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time today, Alistair. Again, if you've enjoyed this video, please do give us a thumbs up, give us a like, and do subscribe to my YouTube channel if you're watching on YouTube, or follow us on social media. Again, if you're watching this on catch up, just post any questions you've got in the chat, and myself or Alistair can come back and answer those as well. Well, I'd just like to say a huge thank you, Alistair. Thanks for all your tips and advice today. Really, really useful. And I will see everybody again next Monday at 12:30 for some more fantastic tips and advice on social media. I'm going to be talking about how to create a community on social media next week. So how do we build an engaged community on social media? So I'll see you again, same time, same place next week, 12:30. Thanks, Alistair. See you all later. Bye.